Oh, I did have this. Don't let me forget. All right.
Ooh.
Something?
Something.
Yeah? Still something?
No.
I'm good?
Good.
What is porn? Killing brothers I should kill. Stuff is real.
I would laugh if you played this video with that starting.
I'll remember this time.
Mm.
All right. Anyway, all right. Here we go. Let's go. Glasses and everything. You know, you're getting old when your contacts. You gotta replace them with glasses to see.
Yeah.
Let's get down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is Friday, January the 17th, 2020. And we are here for what is the eve of the beginning of the Australian Open. Let's go!
2 more days for them, because they're on the 18th. Yeah, 2 more days.
I got my stress egg right here, not for stress. It's building grip for my wrist. Anyway, I had an injured wrist, so I got this new device today. So I'm squeezing my wrist egg. All right. So real quickly to start this show, I'm going to do a quick mention about our fantasy team competition that we have with a lot of you, and our tennis racket giveaway that we have a competition for as well. And I only mention this because there was a glitch on some of the teams that were submitted by some of you, and we got that corrected. We're fairly certain, but
yeah. And
so
I
what was
saw
happening?
somebody's just came through. Somebody, I guess they've just started watching our show because they said, "Love your content, congratulations, and keep up the good work." But there's 4 of you guys that put your picks in, and I guess you could see them, but we couldn't see them, or anybody else could see them on the regular app, right, on the phone.
Yeah. So what was happening is there was a couple people out there that I was thinking about at physical therapy, squeezing this thing and working with my knee. And I was like, I wonder why Gene hasn't submitted picks. I wonder why Hitchhiker, curling, tennis. So I went into this place.
Yeah, he bugged me all morning about it.
Yeah, so I went into this place called Community, and then I realized, wait a minute, there's all these people's picks here, or at least 4, and they weren't being left on the app, like updated on the app comments.
And there's a new viewer, Stefan. He's from Serbia.
Yes, so
his was there too.
Neither here nor there, but for those that are competing, hopefully that glitch is fixed, and we have hopefully gotten those put on the prize giveaway video. So again, I don't want to dwell too much in that because I think last year a lot of people were just like, we don't really play it, so get right to tennis. So
yeah, check the comments. I put down everybody's picks that they wrote originally. Make sure that I got it right.
So just in case you are wondering, though, what we're even talking about is for every major we have viewers, if you wish, select a fantasy team that consists of 8 men and 8 women, and only 4 of the men and 4 of the women can be seated inside the top 20, and the other 4 and 4 must be seated outside of the top 20, or you could have as many seated outside the top 20 as you wish. The benefit thereof is because those seated outside the top 20 are worth 2 points and per match win, and those seated inside the top 20 are only worth 1 point. So while we're right here just for a second, I'm going to read you the difference between a typical team and then maybe a not so typical team. Okay? So first of all, let's read the new viewer. Let's read that one first, just to start. So what's the person's name?
They're Leandro Fronza.
Let's go. All right, so here's this person's team. Go.
Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, Bashvili, Opelka, Kyrgios, Anderson, Chile. Women's, Barty, Silovina, Collins, Goff, Serena, Yastremska, Nisimova, and Ostapenko. Nadal beats Federer, and Barty beats Silovina. That's a different final.
Okay, so the finalist that he chose, Nadal beating Federer and Barty beating Svitolina. That was unique because I haven't seen that yet up to date. And the finalist predictions are for the tennis racket. The fantasy team is for strings, shirts, prizes, and we settle it up sometimes with PayPal or something cash-wise if we don't.
If you prefer the cash.
If you prefer that.
We send it to you.
So this team that this Leandro Franza Haas, like Tommy Haas, is that right?
Are you Italian? Maybe.
Anyway, okay, so Djokovic, Nadal, Federer. So he has 3 1-point per match wins. Basilashvili 2, Opelka 2, Kyrgios 2, Kevin Anderson 2, Cilic 2. So pretty safe on the men's side. On the women's side, Barty is a 1-pointer, Svitolina is a 1-pointer, Collins 2, Goff 2, Serena is a 1-pointer, Yastremska's a 2, Anisimova is a 2, and Ostapenko's a 2. So kind of in between what I would call a run-of-the-mill team and an outlandish team. He's kind of safe right in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have his 1-point players maxed out, but he has just one below. So I'm going to read to you a run-of-the-mill type team. You maxed out your 1-pointers. I'm going to read Carla's again. Here, I'll read another one that did 4 and 4. No, I was on Carla's. Let me stick with it for time. Carla chose Nadal, Djokovic, Federer, Tsitsipas, all worth 1 point each. Opelka, Hurkacz, Kyrgios, Anderson, 2 points apiece. The reason why she's at a disadvantage right now, because the person that we just read, Franco, what was it? He had, I think, 4 of these players in of himself, plus another 2-point player, and I think even another one, no, just one more. So unless your teams are spot on, then he can kind of catch you with one of those 2-point winners, right?
True, but I mean, his Golf could lose in the first round, so there goes no points.
It's possible.
Silvino could lose in the first round.
Possible.
So there goes no points.
It's possible. Now, Carla's on the women's side: Serena, Pliskova, Keys, Osaka, Collins, Yastremska, Anisimova, and Muguruza. So you have.
I like my 6.
So you have 4 1-pointers and 4 2-pointers.
Yeah.
Now, with this said, let me go to my dog. What's up, Stefan Nizovic? Let's get down. Don't make me dunk on you, bro.
He's tall.
Tall.
You're tall. How tall are you?
We
were looking at his pictures.
He's the basketball player in the group, and he's just lucky. Homeboy is lucky that I've got a ruptured patellar tendon and my stress egg all up on my wrist. Otherwise, I would leap off this foot, do a 360, bow, right in your face. Let's go. Not really. He's got game. I can see it. All right,
he sent you a funny comment yesterday.
So let me read you Stefan Nizovic's team, and then we're gonna move forward. Here is his team. He didn't choose any male player that was inside the top 20. So here we go. He has Kyrgios, Pablo Carreno Busta, Guido Pella, Lajovic, Ranic, Chorich, Anderson, and Evans. So technically, this is really good tactics, or oh no, it might get ugly quick. But he only has to get a few wins with some of these players, and he'll get the same amount of points you would have chosen getting Djokovic or Nadal or Federer through the 4th round.
How are you gonna let Djokovic down like that?
He's playing to win, and these are the tactics. Here's his women's team: Barty, Williams, okay, 2 1-pointers. And then Pavlyuchenkova, Collins, Kontaveit, Alexandrova, Anisimova, and Wozniacki. So
okay, not bad.
Yeah, so ultimately, I think right now he is your favorite to win the white tech shirts, the strings, or whatever he chooses. I think he's your favorite. What was his final? Now, for the tennis racket, I'll read one off, and since we're picking on Stefan, the dude that I would just all dunk up in his grill. That guy, then shoot his eyes out with this massive 3. Let's get down. Whoop, whoop, skirt. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Stefan Nizovic's finalist is Serena defeating Pliskova. Okay. It's fairly run-of-the-mill, though. A lot of people have that. But a lot of people don't have his men's prediction, which is Medvedev versus Tsitsipas, with Medvedev winning.
Someone told me to slap you in the head yesterday for picking Kyrgios.
Oh, that was probably.
And Wayne Chia said the same thing. Like, what is Justin thinking?
So, since we're barking up Nizovic's getting dunked on tree, let's talk about Medvedev for a minute, because he was one of the only. There might have been 1 or 2 up to this point, but he's one of the only, if not one of 2, that selected Medvedev to win the tournament. Now, can we talk about for a moment why Daniil Medvedev is really, 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 really dangerous? Whereas most people at 6'6", I think, if that's his height,
that is his height,
are usually not. First of all, Medvedev can go. He's got burners that can go. So he can run all day long. And for someone, 6'6", that's Jordan's height, by the way. For someone 6'6" to traverse a tennis court in 110 degree or 100 degree heat, whatever, constantly, especially with the likes of the tall guys that are big servers, the Isners and the Karloviches, the Slikovskis. The list goes on to an infinite number of people. If you get them to 5 sets deep in the fifth, whatever, eventually the big guns start dwindling a bit. The power drops off, the consistency lacks, the depth drops. We start missing balls wide or dumping, a few careless, lazy shots into the net. I mean, whatever. Need I go farther?
Yeah, but he's built like a zebra to me.
So Medvedev is 6'6" and can and will tactically attempt to outlast his opponent. Now, why is this unique for him? Because people outlast people all the time, and that's their tactic. I.e., Novak Djokovic,
Arantxa Sanchez used to do that too.
But these guys are 6 foot, 5'11", 6'1", maybe pushing 6'2". You start getting up into 6'6" and Cilic territory and Branic territory. The body's breaking down, but Medvedev does not seem to break. Now with that said, he has a solid serve, and his serve generally stays solid. He has the ability to make a crowd not like him, boosting his positive energy and turning it around for a positive at the end of the day. However, here are his downfalls, in my opinion. Daniil Medvedev seems to have issues hitting outside of the center of the court. We talked about on a video the other day that our own 17-year-old son, Jonathan, who's a really dynamic, solid player, can hold his own with anyone. But when you get him out of the center of the court, he tends to spray balls wide. If he's trying to go up the line, he's kind of shooting them a hair wide, or if he's trying to adjust to that line, now he's shooting him too neutral, back to the neutral part of the court. So Medvedev tends to do this, in my opinion. I feel like he likes to dictate from inside the baseline, from on the baseline, and from the center of the court. I find that if you pull him wide, make him run to the left, make him run to the right, and force him to hit up the line, that he has a tough time pulling the up the line shot. So I'm sure Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal understand this. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that guys.
Sure, they know how to read players.
Yeah, I'm sure. And correct me.
And he's not going to blow you off the court. Medvedev can't blow somebody off the court.
Well, if you're not as athletically fit as him, then you can't.
He's not going to blow you off with hard shots.
Yeah, so to other people, though, outside of the big three, I find that he's incredibly dangerous all the time and extremely dangerous at that. Mm-hmm. I think that the intelligence of Djokovic right now on the surface, Nadal and Federer with obviously a ton of experience, need I say more, I find that they're going to adjust to this relatively quickly and not play a lot of neutral balls. They're going to paint the lines because they know they can hit them, make him move left to right, and thus exposing his less precise shots. So I don't think that I can agree with Stefan Nizovic that Medvedev is going to win this tournament. I just don't think if you move Medvedev enough that you can. If you move Medvedev enough, I think that the best in the world, the top three, will go through him. 4 sets, maybe it's a fifth, okay. But I think at the end of the day, when you're counting at the end of a 5-set match, you're looking at what's the difference here. 27 unforced errors to 26, first serve percentage, and so forth. I think when you look at the percentages, you're going to see that Medvedev over the haul of 5 sets is going to have more unforced errors while on the run outside of the center of the court than you would see from any of the other big three. So if you take them 5 sets, I'm sorry, but I think he's number 4 in line.
Well, I don't see Tsitsipas beating Djokovic. I don't see that either.
Yeah. So I think outside of that, I think we've kind of traversed through the first bit of this show. So sorry if it took up too much time. By the way, it's kind of a rainy, cool day here in Alabama, and I'm kind of not in my total.
Yeah, it makes me sleepy. I'm like, jeez.
Yeah, I'm kind of not total. I went to physical therapy today for my ruptured patellar tendon, and I realized that I still have a long way to go. So my energy kind of zapped from me for a minute. So I'm trying to have a Sabalenka facial ball skin pull. I'm trying to get.
I should have done her hair today. She goes like this.
Face skin.
She's got it like up here.
It's like, can you pull my hair, Carlos,
and then
so I can
she does like this. It's like a ponytail with this.
I got it.
It's weird.
I got it. My boy Mikhail Yuzny, that is assisting with Shapovalov right now. I think the way to invigorate myself is to smash myself in the face and make me bleed with my tennis racket. How do you do it? How did he do it? No, how did he do it? He would be
Don't
like...
hit me with the racket.
He would win matches, usually he would be like, what? What? Smash when he would get mad. Ugh.
All right, wake up.
Wake up! Get down! Stop playing so much.
Let's go.
All right. Let's get back in the thick of things. All right. First topic up, if we haven't traversed a few already. The first topic up. My pick of Aryna Sabalenka winning the Australian Open was outlandish.
By the way, I appreciate whoever made that comment about me. You're funny.
Oh, that's all right. So, yeah.
I still don't like her. Anyway, I caught a rather colorful comment about Carla's non-likingness towards Sabalenka, and it was met with that's funny.
Some great graphic stuff. But nonetheless, let's go. Aryna Sabalenka, I understand it was a very outlandish pick for me. However, a very outlandish pick to most of you, but for me, it's not. We can't forget she's 21. I get this young dynamite player that she played last night, Yastremska, by the way.
Is she 21 now?
Sabalenka's 21. Yastremska's 19, I think.
Yeah, Yastremska's 19.
So, Sabalenka has a very nice game, in my opinion. She has sometimes too much power. I think Jean Short mentioned that yesterday in a comment. She does have a lot, or sometimes too much power. However, that's not why I bring her up. I understand it was outlandish. For me, she lost her father. She's been...
Her dad was young. You could have been her dad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
43.
So
He's 42.
There's a part of me that wants to see her do well, and I hope she does well. I think there's a coaching issue with her.
She needs to get rid of that coach.
If
you got issues with your coach...
Talk to Mortagalu.
You need
talk
somebody.
To Bajin. Talk to someone that can...
I don't know. Bajin was smart picking Yastremska. He's got a winner there. He's got a future champion.
Well, since you mentioned Bajin real quick, there's something that I myself as a coach like to try to instill in others, and there's a kind of a take from Bajin. Bajin tries to teach his students, at least the top, not all of them, but I was going to say maybe not your beginners, but he's not teaching beginners. So he's teaching his students not just to see the ball, but to hit the balls. And if you don't quite get into the coaching aspect of it, sometimes we teach our students to see the ball first. So here comes the ball. Okay, now I see it. Now let's go hit it. So you're losing a fraction of a second there between see ball and hit ball. Does that make any sense? Does it make sense?
Yeah, you should go after the ball.
So if I'm moving back and forth at a high level, traversing the court, left, right, shaking like a boxer, throwing jabs, bow, 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 kind of like Medvedev. He's always throwing these deep balls, throwing jabs at people, and he's backing their opponent up, backing the opponent up with his consistent deep shots, and then Medvedev scoots in, and he's gaining territory, and everybody's conceding territory, and then just stumps it down your throat. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I forgot to mention that with the Medvedev thing. He likes to hit with depth and back his people up and then annihilate the inside of the court. But if I am a player and I see this ball and I have only a split second to hit it perfectly anyway, and I look at it and I'm like, okay, there it is, now let me hit it. Follow me? Split second happens this fast, but you can still break down that instantaneous second like this. And then you slow that down, right? Slow it down. Now, if you scratch there's the ball, hit the ball, and you see the ball, and instead you're teaching your student, forget about see it, hit it, just hit it. There's the ball, I should be hitting it. So you're taking out a nanosecond of time by not just thinking, there's my target, now let me hit it. Bam! I just want to go after it. So instead of see hit, just hit the ball. And I think that's what Yastremska proved that she was doing last night. I mean, she would get the ball and she'd be on it. Bow! And she's powerful. She beat Sabalenka and she
at her game.
My only hope,
at her game.
And I think Sabalenka and Yastremska had played twice previous to that, and Yastremska had beat her both times in straights, or maybe this was the second time now being in straights. My only hope that my Sabalenka pick comes to fruition is that Sabalenka does not meet her again, because she looks good.
Let me tell you, I don't like Sabalenka, but if I were her coach, I would tell her, let's add some touch to your game because she needs it. I think the touch would help her. Like Barty. She has some
variety.
There's variety there. Let's come to the net a little bit. Let's just not grind from back there. Because every girl can grind from back there. Every girl can hit from the baseline.
Yeah, and I noticed too, if you look at, say, Daniil Medvedev, when he hits his forehand, he hits a lot of inside to in. In other words, he's stepping around the forehand instead of inside out. He's kind of insiding in. Sabalenka, in my opinion, does the opposite. She's always hitting, seems to be like inside out. And when she does that, she uses so much power She's got the shot lined up. It's right there. The court's open. The opponent has basically conceded the point. They're walking after their towel, and then she sprays the inside-out forehand 3 feet wide or 3 feet long, or a culmination of the two.
We watch
here's
that
the
a
corner.
lot.
She's way out here.
Cross court. We watch that a lot.
Yeah,
cross
so she's
going out.
I think that at the end of the day, my Sabalenka pick honestly won't be that great. But I figure, what better storyline for me than to have been proclaiming Sabalenka would win a major before, as someone corrected me earlier today.
Yeah, Osaka won too.
A year and a half, I indicated that Sabalenka would win a major before Osaka won her next major. Yes, she had 2 at that point. Misspoke yesterday for sure. Much love to correcting, but yes, I think that Sabalenka can still do it. But I think that because Andreescu is out, I think that Osaka has a better chance here this year.
Yeah.
I simply picked Sabalenka because I like her. She has a great story. I feel her in a sense when I watch her play. I get her wanting to just get done with it. But unfortunately, she's missing by a mile consistently.
And tennis is the best players have a lot of patience. Best players.
So, to squash the reason why I brought up Aryna Sabalenka, let me tell you why I really brought her up in the first place. She has... can we drum roll this? Can we drum roll? Can you give me a drum roll? Can we get some Christmas Vacation type drum roll? Come on, that's one stick. You got no energy.
I really hate talking about.
Can I get some kiss?
All right, come on, let's go. Like somebody said, did you really waste a minute talking about Roos? Let's go.
Okay, well, don't worry about it. Click, whatever. Anyway, Aryna Sabalenka now owns, for sure, the loudest screech grunt combination thereof across the board, men's tennis, women's tennis. Her screech is louder than a screech. It is an absolute high-pitched pig squeal mixed with someone that just got their foot caught up in a backhoe and now their toenails being dragged off by the neighborhood pig. It's horrendous.
I had my 10-year-old watch her yesterday.
Oh
she
my
was
gosh.
Her mouth was open. She's like, oh my. He's like, I've never heard something. She said, I've never heard something so loud.
It is absolute brutality to listen to her screech. It's a company. Look, in order to emulate that, we would have to do it a duet. Like, I would have to go low, and then somehow you would have to screech at the same time.
And you know the funny thing is that Yastremska was hitting just as hard with no grunt.
With no grunt.
No grunt. It just shows you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
But it was a decent match to watch. A pretty good match.
Yeah, holy shenanigans. I don't know why she has to do that, but it is just awful. I mean, earplugs, earmuffs, whatever you can find if you lost a remote before this match starts, put them on. Otherwise, cut that mute button. Anyway, pretty nasty type deal. Really, really nasty type deal. Yastremska can play, by the way. We spoke briefly about Medvedev. I'm good.
Australian Open qualifying rounds. I only named these 3 Americans because we actually had 10 Americans trying to qualify for the Australian Open. Only 3 have made it through or are playing, not made it through yet. They have not made it through yet. They still got 1 more round to go. So out of 10, 3 have made it to the 3rd round. McNally, Vicari, and Lepchenko. Those are 3.
Lepchenko's been around for a long time.
I'm sorry, Lau. No, my fault. She lost yesterday.
Lepchenko?
Yeah, Lau. Yeah. So 3 of those. McNally, as we know, we saw her play against Serena, and she was pretty good. She's friends with Coco Gauff. They play doubles.
Yeah.
She reminds me of Coco Vandeweghe.
She should be in there. McNally is a good player. Yeah, she can
I like her. Yeah, I definitely like her. Bouchard goes down.
Now, wait, who was the American girl that had throat or mouth cancer?
Gibbs. She lost.
Okay.
She lost. That's why I said 3 out of 10 have made it to the 3rd round, have not qualified yet. Today, they played their last matches. Bouchard goes down. She did not. It's the first time in a long time that she's not playing in the main draw, unless she gets lucky loser. Maybe someone pulls out last minute. But she goes down to Martina Trevisan, a 26-year-old left-hander, who is her first time getting into a main draw of a Grand Slam.
Well, good for her.
So good for her.
Good for her for sure.
Bouchard had like 29 unforced errors, by the way. That's a lot. 6-3, 6-4 was the score. And I was showing Justin a few pictures. You know how you have the head-to-head? The pictures head-to-head.
Oh, yeah.
Here you have Martina Trevisan looking like a tennis player. And then you have Bouchard in a bathing suit. Should I show them this picture?
Well, you can. She showed me this earlier. If you go to a respectful site though and hit a player's head to head, it's gonna show just the two faces.
But this is what people think of her.
So obviously it's a third party.
This is
a third party.
Sure, and I'm not gonna name the site, but this is how they think of her.
So I didn't buy too much into it. I don't see. I'll tell you in a second.
Okay, well here's her head to head, right? This is her thing. Look at the picture they chose. And here's the other player. Looks like a tennis player.
Yeah, I mean...
Now, if I'm playing against this chick and I see her in a bathing suit, I'm saying, I got this. I got it.
I call that a little bit of fake news on that. Only because...
That site is pretty respectable. So.
But yeah, it's not WTA WorldTour.com or whatever.
Neither are we. But we spread fake news.
No, what I'm saying is that's obviously someone's personal thing, and they chose to put a picture of Eugenie Bouchard in a thong.
It's not a thong; it's a regular
or whatever. But what I'm saying is, I like Eugenie Bouchard, and I like.
Well, she can go back to Instagram.
Well, I get that a lot of the females don't, because they look at it and they're like, geez, that's all she cares about. She's selling herself out.
I really wanted her to win. Okay, I really did want her to win.
From a coaching standpoint, she has a good game.
She does.
However, the problem with that is she doesn't give 110% plus to the game. So her good game, when it gets down to beating the tough, and not even the best in the world, but the tough, her game doesn't have the adjustments, the fitness, the stamina to go deep and keep digging deep. And that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Tennis is one of those sports where there can't be an off season because rust will develop. I'm going to stick to some sports that I know a little bit more about than not. But let's say football and at certain positions. I understand certain players work out year round, but some of them, they train preseason, season. They're off for a couple months, no problem. They're back in the spring training, blah blah blah. So they're getting finite off time. In tennis, you just can't afford to take really even a day off because the motion it slows down. You become stressed about different things. The physio breaks down. The timing breaks down.
Athlete,
you just can't take a day off in tennis, and maybe at a vacation for a week, and maybe have a hitting partner at the local hotel.
You
or
can't.
Something.
Not at that level.
You just can't.
She tried to be like Anna Kournikova, but the thing is that Anna Kournikova made it to so many semifinals. She was close. Yeah, she was a much better player than Bouchard. Much better.
Yeah, and even still, she
in looks and in tennis, she was much better than Bouchard.
So that's a very good metaphor. Kournikova is to Bouchard, but Kournikova was even better.
She was better. She was close. And
didn't she win a major in doubles, Kournikova?
Yes. And not only that, she was very close. She would make it to semifinals, and you always had either Hingis or the Williams sisters in her way.
Yeah, so
she was close. And I remember when I went to Bollettieri camp, I watched Kournikova train. She trained hard.
Yeah, you got to put in the work, and unfortunately, when you spend hours trying to get that favorite angle in the mirror with the camera pointed right at you, then you have to tell yourself, is this really all about you, Bouchard? Because I think it is, because all the pictures are about you, taking pictures of you, and you just can't be all about you.
No,
let your own time in tennis.
Let the Instagram girls do that. There's a lot of girls I see, they go,
and
that's what they do. That's what they want to do. But she's not that. She's an athlete.
And a lot of them that you're talking about that are sitting at their natural home in Brazil or India, they look better anyway.
Yeah, that's their talent, is to, I guess, look good.
Yeah, anyway.
I guess.
So she's working too hard to do something that
there's a million girls.
There's a million
girls. Go to Miami. Go to Miami.
Anywhere.
You can pick any girl. That one. Oh, that one's hotter.
Anywhere.
That one's hotter. No, that one's hotter.
No, you can go to Belarus. You can go
serious.
You can go to Afghanistan.
Well, Miami has a melting pot. They have a melting
anywhere.
pot. Miami has a melting pot. You'll find them all there.
There's natural beauty everywhere.
Yes. They don't have to even go.
Yeah.
They just have it.
Yeah. All right. So.
Next thing that I looked at a few matches and I saw. A guy that we talked about, Trungelliti. Remember that no one wanted to talk to him? Marco Trungelliti from the Argentine.
He was the one that potentially rolled over on someone for betting.
Right. They were calling him a snitch and no one wanted to talk to him. He got called back at the French Open because he was a lucky loser. He made it to the main draw.
Good for him.
Good for him. He's playing third round. I'm sorry, playing third round. Christopher Eubanks last night beat Choisky. Choisky withdrew. We were watching that match. This kid has a one-handed one-handed backhand. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, Eubanks is actually an up-and-coming player. I mean, what is he, about 6'4", 6?
He looks tall.
He's a tall kid.
Yeah.
Good for him. However, at the same time, I hate it for Troitsky.
Probably played too much at the ATP Cup.
Yeah, probably played a lot there. But Troitsky is a fine player, and Troitsky went through his ups and downs too, and came back, and he's around. I always personally like Troitsky a lot. I hate to say this, don't call me crazy, but I wanted Troitsky to win this match.
So did I. But that's too bad.
So I'm really look. I'm glad the Eubanks kid. I'm glad.
He's in the third round.
Yeah, I'm glad he won for him. Good for him. And he's a U.S. player too.
Correct.
So even though U.S. player, and so I still wanted Troitsky to win. And I hope Troitsky is back soon and does great. I like Troitsky.
4 guys that qualified. Golbis, we know he's a dangerous floater.
He can be an asshole too.
Yeah, Gojovic, Donskoy, and Dean Novak all qualified to the main draw.
Well, good deal.
Adelaide tournament. We already talked about Yastrenska. One thing I had to say about that match is, why are women so catty? I watch guys play, they fight. I watch Medvedev, Schwartzman. They fought, exchanged words, but at the end, they shook hands, they gave each other a hug. Women, I watch Collins and Barty. When they go shake hands, so catty. Sabalenka barely looked at Yastrenska. It was like almost a slap. And Collins, same thing. These girls, they have no respect for each other. It's tough to watch.
Okay.
The guys are always like, but the girls, man. I remember when I played my first challenger. Girls are rough. They're just rough. They make you feel so unwelcome.
We have spoken on this show at length about how athletes, and I guess my reference wasn't across gender, not that matters anyway, but we have had many discussions about saying, it's easier for an athlete to kind of go head to head with another athlete and then shake hands at the end of the competition.
Not for girls.
I think I was going to say that.
Not for girls.
I think it's different for the girls because look, I'm going to pick on B-Dog or Rahesh, people that we know well, and we have disagreements, but we are always like, well, so, even with you, and you're a girl, but don't take this the wrong way. You're my wife, mother of my 5 kids, but you don't really play like a girl. You on the court, off the court, in the house, in the bedroom, in terms of fighting with the kids. Not like that.
Oh my God.
Come on, we're PG, man. I'm talking in the bedroom, like when you go upstairs and put the kids in bed, instead of putting good night, you're like, get back, boom, get back, bow. That's what I'm talking about. You got a dirty mind, man. You guys are dirty minded. No, like seriously, but you might as well be me because it's no different. Like I'm be like, all right, man, get bed, man.
Yeah, but here's Sabalenka.
You do the same thing.
Yeah, Sabalenka's tough, and she lost that match. She should have. I like Osaka because Osaka, no matter when she loses, she always bows her head down and she shakes their hand. She's very respectful. But some of these girls, like Collins, here's a 3-set. Barty and her went to 3 sets, 7-6 at the end. And they come in and she's like, and she doesn't even look at her. It's disrespectful. You give a bad name to women's tennis. You really do.
Yeah, so the moral of the story is...
I hate watching that.
You see dudes, playing football.
They hug each other.
Tackling each other, trying to knock each other, take them out, whatever. At the end, they're like, what's up, good game. Boxers, blah, 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 blah.
Sharapova is another one that's very classless when it comes to that.
But you get to some of the females. And, man, they get done with the tennis match, it's all like...
Slap, man.
Slap, ignore it totally.
Putinseva's in that list. Georgie's in that list.
Now, there is a word, 2 words,
Pliškova's in that list.
Go back for time immemorial is the word catfight. Girls, man, they get in those catfights, man, and it's like, woo.
Yeah.
They get freaky on that stuff.
But that Barty and Collins match, I think that's going to take a lot out of Barty. Here she goes on a 3-setter. She's in a final. She's going to play Yastrenska. I would save her energy because I don't expect her to go in past the first week at the Australian Open. She struggled with Collins.
I wouldn't save her energy because that's a bad excuse for someone as young as she is. Now, if you're Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, Pliškova, Serena...
But here she is, the number 1 Australian, number 1 player of the world.
She doesn't need... She needs to stay in that zone. She needs to keep riding the wave.
Okay.
Look, you can't state that you need to conserve energy when you're like 21 or 22 or 19. team. You can't say that because, Carlo, what about the Boris Beckers, the Stefan Edbergs, the Michael Chang,
I'm telling
the
you,
Tracy
she might not
Austins?
want to show her. Okay.
Nothing has changed underneath the sun. Now, when you get to be a big-time player, top 1, 2, 3 in the world, you're getting around 27. That's what I'm saying. You get around 27 or 30 years old, then okay, conserve energy. But Barty's too young to have the excuses, I'm conserving energy for a loss. She either plays and wins or plays and loses.
She loses to Yastremska. This will tell me a lot. Rublev, we watched this match. Two young guys, Rublev and Felix Auger-Aliassime. Great match. Definitely they are the future of tennis. These guys are gentlemen, by the way. You didn't really hear them scream. They play their hearts out. 3 sets, right? It was 3 sets. That last point that Felix hit, sailed that overhead. He didn't hit it right. He had a chance. But I see a lot of greatness in Rublev, by the way. A lot. He could be the next. I like his game better than Medvedev.
I'm not so nice. I mean, look, they're young and they will be in tennis.
They don't smash the brackets. They're about the same age as these guys, 19.
I agree with all that.
Yeah.
Let me hear me out on this one. I see a fine young man in Rublev and in Auger-Aliassime, and I see a fine tennis player in both. I see great athletes in both, great sportsmen and sportsmanship in both. And Rublev did have a little hiccup last night towards the getting down love 3 in the third, and he came back and rectified that. I see 2 really good tennis players and 2 really good young men. Okay, now is that a compliment? Absolutely. But do I see the greatest players in front of me that I think will revolutionize and be the next best and the best in the world? No. I see a very good top 20 player in Rublev. I see a very good hovering around 20 player in Auger-Aliassime. I don't have high expectations for Aliassime this year. I have higher expectations for Rublev. I do think Rublev needs to focus on fitness in terms of getting stronger.
He needs more weight on him.
A little bit of weight on him.
Yeah, he looks like Skeletor a bit.
But there's no one out there that can firmly say, if you have studied the game, been around it, there's nothing that jumps out at me about Auger-Aliassime and Rublev that are going to tell me that they're going to be a future number 1 in the world.
I'm saying these guys are going to compete against each other.
Yeah.
So here, this is what I'm talking about.
You said the next best things.
These guys will be in the top 10. You'll have Tsitsipas. You'll have Medvedev. You'll have Felix. You'll have Rublev.
You're not accounting for those that come up every year and that are 18, 19 now that you haven't heard of yet. I still think that Rublev and both of them.
They're hungry.
I think they're hungry, but I still think they're pretty much run-of-the-mill, top 20, top 30. You know, when people follow the game, outside of being fanatics like us and to most everyone else that watches this
I don't know.
channel,
I see something special.
We've seen it.
I'm not saying they're going to be one, but you don't need to be one to win a slam.
Their match was 7-6, 6-7, and something like that in the third. I fell asleep late. It was like 2 a.m. here. But, you know, to be the next best thing, as you said, that got me on this tangent in the first place, at that age, which is, 19, 20, 21, whatever, if someone's going to be the next best thing, someone's beating their tail 6-2, 6-1 off the court. You see what I'm saying? They're neck and neck, and I don't see either one of them ever winning a major. If I had to choose one of them to win a major, I would say Rublev.
I don't know yet. They're young. I know they look better than Zverev.
Anyway, sorry to go off on that tangent. I just don't see anything super. They're great, and they'll be great, but I don't see anything super great where I'm ready to sell the house and bet.
I'm not ready to sell the house on anybody. I'm not ready to sell the house on Medvedev. I'm not ready to sell on Tsitsipas. None of those guys. None of them. I'd rather sell my bet on Djokovic, of course, and Nadal and Federer again and again and again.
Of the younger guys out there, you can't forget about the Skinner. Or Sinner, rather, the Italian player,
He's still young.
You can't forget about the young French gentleman, Moutet. You can't forget about these guys that are now very young too, and now here they come. So
sure, there's a lot of them that are coming up.
The whole next gen connotation.
Nobody said next gen.
I know, but which is so cheesy, has acclimated people to characterize one group of guys, i.e. Zverev, Kyrgios.
What I'm saying is that
when there's so many more that are better than them and younger than them, and they're already here.
When the 3 retire, it will be exciting to see what those 2 can do, and there's a few more. Instead of just people smashing their rackets, cursing people out, and blah blah blah. If you think Nick Kyrgios has something special, why couldn't these guys have something special?
Could.
And that's an idiot.
But
just saying.
But Nick Kyrgios has more athletic firepower.
He is also a lot older, a lot heavier, and should have done something in the game a long time ago.
Can't disagree.
So if you think that guy can win a slam, why couldn't the other two win a slam?
You can't disagree with that. However, when Nick Kyrgios first jumped around and some of the shots that he would pull off with seemingly zero
Monfils
effort.
can put many shots.
I get it. Monfils is Kyrgios, and the list goes on. There's always been jesters that can be athletically dominant, but unfortunately, they just never are because they focus too much on the oohs and ahs.
Keep working hard, Rublev and Felix. Yeah. I'm sure we'll see you guys win a slam and make him eat his words.
But Kyrgios two or three or 4 years ago would light up the court with both of them if he tried.
Anyways.
He had more firepower.
All right. Anyways, we watched Lloyd Harris beat Tommy Paul. I just mentioned the match because it was a good match to watch.
It was
good
a good
to see
match.
an American kid play, right?
Yeah.
Lloyd won, and he will play Rublev in that final.
And great win for Lloyd Harris. So it's this is just something off the top of my head, but it seems like to me South Africa comes out with players generationally. Let me try.
That guy was tall.
Okay, so let me think. What was Cliff Drysdale from South Africa?
I think so.
Okay, so and the one that was a commentator.
Yes, he's a great commentator.
Wonderful. Cliff Drysdale, I think, is South African. I know after Cliff Drysdale, Johan Kriek, who won 2 Australian Opens, I think.
He's from South Africa.
Okay,
yes.
I know Johan Kriek is, and so it went from like Drysdale era. I don't know if Drysdale ever won an Australian. Drysdale to Kriek. I forget who in between.
Let me see. He won.
So between Kriek and Kevin Anderson, was there a South African between Kriek and Anderson that kind of just showed up and like represented like South Africa? And Gene Swart might know this.
He won. No, he.
But I remember Drysdale, Kriek, Anderson, and now Lloyd Harris. And can you look up South African to Republic of South African RSA tennis players? It seems like every generation they have a player that comes in and just lights it up, and then there's not like 4 South Africans at once. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like in the U.S. you've got
Wayne Ferreira.
Yeah, good call.
He was a good player.
So
Amanda Coetzee.
I haven't heard of that one.
You don't remember Amanda Coetzee? She was the little tennis player who had played against Steffi Graf. Wow, what were you missing?
I don't recall that one.
Wow.
But what I'm getting at is it seems like there's like one player that comes out of South Africa every, there's not like 10 of them. Well,
they don't have much to fund. They said funding is, tough to
Good
fund
point.
players. Yeah.
Wonderful players, though. I met Johan Kriek in Woodstock, Vermont at a USPTA fantasy camp there.
Why don't I see Johan Kriek's name?
Johan Kriek is from South Africa.
I don't see his name.
Did I get that wrong?
Johan.
No, he's from South Africa.
Yeah, he is. His name was not there.
I already know that for a fact.
They don't like him, that's why.
No, he's good. He's a good guy and teaches and is a heck of a good coach, too.
Just playing. Next tournament was Auckland. Pair defeats Hurkacz in 3 sets. Ooh. And Humbert beats Isner. So it'd be Pair and Humbert. Doesn't matter.
Well, Humbert is a solid player. Pierre, not my favorite with the fly collar and so forth. He has some tirades from here and there. But Humbert's a good player. Who else was there? Hurkacz. You said Hurkacz. Yeah. Surprised Hurkacz went down. I think Hurkacz could beat Federer. Could. I'd say he will. But I think Hurkacz might meet Federer in the 3rd round at the Australian Open.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Last thing I got was Pliskova dissing Serena.
Oh, I heard about
basically
that.
There was no top 10 players in that tournament. Her quote was, I think that she had a couple of chances already last 2 years. She was always quite close. I think this time especially there was. I think no really opponent which would have the game to beat her. There was no real opponent in this match.
So the short version is that Pliskova...
You should have won.
That Pliskova's basically saying, in other words, Pliskova's in a different tournament. They're interviewing Pliskova. Commentary, what do you think about Serena winning? Well, she should have won because no one was there anyway, and she still played tight matches. Something like that, right?
Basically, yeah.
Basically.
Hobart, Rybakina, which someone has her, versus Schwazang in the final.
There we go.
That's it.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, and I can't wait. Look forward to it. Mm-hmm. See you next time. Adios. Take care.
Bye-bye.
There we go. It worked out all right. Let's go. Let's get down. Woo!